Song of the Sun, an Aztec myth, retold by Melinda Lilly, illustrated by Charles Reasoner. I fill my cloak with precious flowers. Aztec lyric fragment. Eagle warrior awakened before dawn. He arose silently, listening to the music of the night, the deep even breathing of his fellow musicians, the water lapping at the banks of the canals outside, and the soft hooting of an owl. Great owl, night's companion, he murmured, picking up his clay flute. I am ready to honor your lord and mine. Cuauhtli, the spirit of night. He lit a stick of incense and set it in the burner on the windowsill, eager for the ceremony of night to begin. He had practiced for years, as one at the end of a line, thinking his flute's voice could never be heard among so many. This time, Eagle Warrior had been honored by being chosen by the spirit of night to lead in the temple ceremony, and he hoped his music would be pleasing. Eagle Warrior spoke to the other music makers. Owl has spoken. Night calls, he whispered in the firelight. It's time to go to the temple. The musicians arranged themselves into groups as they gathered at the temple of night. The dancers stilled their rattles. Conch shell players lifted their instruments and listened to the faraway ocean. The musicians with whistles and flutes stood in readiness, their eyes fixed on Eagle Warrior as he stepped forward to the steady beats of the Retells and Tonatiuh drums. Cradling his flute in his arms, Eagle Warrior climbed the temple's stone steps to the carved room on top. Eagle Warrior lowered his plumed head and entered the small smoky room. Long ago it was the spirit of night who had brought music and color to his people by playing a flute. Now Eagle Warrior could hardly wait to offer him the same gifts. He moved to the window and looked out. At the base of the pyramid, 4 sharp whistles signaled the start of the dance. The conch shells, rattles, whistles, and the other flute players joined the drums in praising Cuauhtli. The singers chanted the many names of their spirit, spirit of their lord, spirit of night, soul of the world, the ever-present and ever-near. Closing his eyes, Eagle Warrior lifted his flute and began his song. With each breath, he could feel night filling him with power. With each note, Eagle Warrior filled the world with song and joy. He played as he had never played before. His music soared up to the sky, followed by his gaze. The eyes of the night looking back at him, watching as stars. The Lord Cuauhtli was listening. Eagle Warrior and his friends serenaded the spirit of night as the sky began to brighten with daylight. In the house of dawn, Tonatiuh, sun, stirred from his rest, also hearing the songs of night. He listened to the incomparable beauty of the Eagle Warrior's flute, but the music brought him no pleasure. It was not for him. Again he awakened to night's song, night's praises. What's night but cold and colorless, seethed the sun. Everything draped in black, sun burned hot with jealousy. His flames pierced the morning sky. I bring warmth and light, but do they thank me? If they care for nothing for my gifts, I'll take away the music and color and keep them for myself. Blazing sun hurled himself at the remaining darkness. In a flash, night's stars were extinguished. Cuauhtli, the night, disappeared from earth to the dead lands below. From the temple, Eagle Warrior watched sun's rays reach across the land like hungry fingers, hungry for praise, song, and color. Eagle Warrior's flute sounded a warning, but it was too late. Sun scooped up the musicians and trapped them in his clenched fists. Sing songs for me, he commanded in a roaring voice. You praise night, but have forgotten day. Without my light and warmth, there would be no color, no music, no life. What is night without day? Safe in the temple room, only Eagle Warrior had escaped sun's grasp. Shading his eyes and squinting, he saw and heard his friends trying to break free. The drummers pounded sun's palms. Feathered dancers kicked his curving fingers. Rattles shook furiously. Flutes cried. Conch shells blared, trying to blast a way out of their prison. Singers sang of their lost homes. Sun didn't notice his prisoners' struggles or sorrow. He basked in the beauty of their music and color, but remained unsatisfied. The songs were still not for him. He tightly laced his fingers together to keep the music and color from escaping. Grey silence descended upon the world. Eagle Warrior looked away from the sun and down at the land, now bleached by harsh morning light. His friends were gone. Music, color, and laughter were no more. Sun had taken them from the world. The people who were left moved as ghosts over the faded, whispering land. Eagle Warrior covered his eyes with his feathered shield and wept. Then, when he could cry no more, he lifted his flute. He called to the spirit of night with each note, asking for help in freeing his friends and bringing life back to this world. I long to find the sweet songs my soul weeps. Cuauhtli. He played his song all day, with no answer from night. But Sun heard. One escaped. One flute still plays for night and not day, he said, blazing with anger. Following the sound to the pyramid, Sun reached his fiery fingers into the temple to grab Eagle Warrior and capture his airy melody. With an unwavering breath, Eagle Warrior cried, Cuauhtli, Cuauhtli. At last, Spirit of the Night heard the call and stirred. He rose from the dead world, spreading his black star-studded cloak across the sky. He plunged Eagle Warrior into the safety of darkness as Sun dove behind the horizon, clutching his captives. On his flute of stars, Spirit of Night blew forth a melody like a cool wind. You are the only music maker left in the world, his flute sang to the Eagle Warrior. You must find the House of Dawn and offer your gifts to Tonatiuh, Sun. He is hungry. Only when you and all of the people honor him, as you've honored me, will he free his prisoners. The wind stilled as the Spirit of Night turned and disappeared into the evening sky. Eagle Warrior left his city, searching for the House of Dawn. He wandered the wet forest and the desert. He climbed the mountains, scaling the rocks and old lava flows. He crossed the shifting coastal sands and came to the edge of the great sea just as the sun's first flames of daylight appeared. He looked around for a canoe to take him across the waters, but nothing was found. He ran into the waves only to be thrown back into the beach, sputtering. With an eagle's war cry, he threw himself into the air, but was more warrior than eagle and fell to the ground instead of flying. He dove into the breakers and began to swim, battered by the rough surf. The powerful waves tumbled him and over end. He struggled to surface for air. Spirit of Night, help me, he gasped as he sank beneath the water. In the darkness of the great sea, he heard the distant trill of his lord's flute, and then shadowy figures surrounded him. He was lifted above the waves on the slopping back of a giant turtle. He stretched out on the living island, turning to see the slick, strong movements of a whale and an alligator swimming alongside. I must reach the sun, he gasped. Before he rises too high, he has my friends, color, and music. You can't run from there, Eagle Warrior, said the turtle, cocking her head. You can't fly there, chuckled Alligator. You can't swim there either, added Whale, flexing his tail. We will help you, offered Turtle. We will make a bridge to the sun. Spirit of Night called us with his flute, commanding that it be done. Oh, hurry, friends, urged Eagle Warrior. As he watched the horizon, sun broke free of the water and began to rise into the sky. I am a turtle. I do not hurry, Turtle replied, planting her feet in the shallows. The three animals lined up mouth to tail, making a bridge that stretched from the shore to the water below the rising sun. Eagle Warrior stood on the turtle's enormous back. Tonatiuh, son, he called. I am Cuauhtli, Eagle Warrior. Listen to my Cuauhtli, my music. Free my brothers and sisters. He raised his flute to his lips. I know that you sing for the night, not to honor for me, Sun yelled, glaring. Eagle Warrior's breath died in the flute. He couldn't play the song he had played so well the night before. Cuauhtli, the night, was not with him. He was alone with angry Sun. In desperation, he looked across the living bridge to his home. There was nothing left to sing about in that great world. His voice remained silent. Without Sun's blessings, the land was a lifeless color, and for the first time, Eagle Warrior saw that color, music, and life came not only from night, but also from day. How could he have overlooked Sun's gifts? Taking a deep breath, he faced Tonatiuh's son, remembering the beauty of his former world. He blew into his flute, trilling softly so only Sun could hear. Tonatiuh, Tonatiuh, Tonatiuh! His music sang of sunlight sparkling on the waves. It sang of warmth and brightness and of the light shining through the clouds. Hearing his name spoken with reverence, the sun listened. Eagle Warrior played sweetly, thanking Sun for the waves warming him. Tonatiuh, Tonatiuh, Tonatiuh. With each breath, Eagle Warrior soothed the sun. Music spread across the sky. Sun loosened his fists, listening to the musicians. At last were able to see the House of Dawn, not as a prison, but as a place where life begins with each morning. They joined Eagle Warrior in celebrating the sunrise. Tonatiuh, Tonatiuh, Tonatiuh. The people of the world lifted their heads, looking up from the colorless, silent land, their eyes fixed on the sun, spinning in the sky like a festival of warmth, light, and life. Tonatiuh, Tonatiuh, Tonatiuh. They sang, thanking him. The sky and the earth echoed with the sun's praise. The sun listened to the wondrous sound of his own name and was filled with joy. And at last the people sang for him. Sunlight twirled around him, and he danced and chanting along with his people. Tonatiuh, Tonatiuh, Tonatiuh. His hands stretched out to the free, his music makers embraced the world. The musicians leaped onto the whale's back. They danced along the living bridge, playing notes made of hues of daylight, red, blue, yellow, green. Tonatiuh, Tonatiuh, Tonatiuh. The world sang. Color filled heaven and earth once again. Lifted by song, Eagle Warrior flew with the sun through the sky to the House of Dusk, scattering music and joy. On the western shore, Eagle Warrior's flute sang to his people, and all the creation joined in the dance for day and for night. Listening, Tonatiuh and Cuauhtli swirled together in the sky, mingling their colors into the light and dark radiance of evening.